The Sawyer Mini is the most versatile personal filtration system available. It's a perfect solution for backpacking, hiking, hunting, fishing, scouting, international travel, and emergency preparedness. At a mere 2 ounces, the Mini fits in the palm of your hand and can filter up to 100,000 gallons of water from any freshwater lake, river, or stream. The Sawyer Mini has a 0.1 micron absolute pore size. It was tested to 10 million parts of bacteria and 1 million parts of protozoa without a single breakthrough. This is the highest level filters can be tested to, so we're confident these are the highest rates of filtration available.
And we're back. Just John and me today. The rest of the crew is
the
busy
faithful
cooking.
few.
Yep. Everybody else is busy cooking for Thanksgiving. So today is going to be kind of a lighthearted episode. My name is Chris Evan, by the way. I'm CEO of Survival Dispatch. John is my co-host, John Wheaton here.
Yeah.
The brief for this video and all of our episodes at patreon.com/survival dispatch. Sign up for free and you can get all of the briefs, has all the links, plus the links we didn't have a chance to cover, plus all the same show notes that we go over for each and every episode. So like I said, John, we're going to start with some lighthearted stuff. And actually, before that, I forgot to mention, we're working on an option so that when we get to the 3rd chapter of our live episodes, that y'all can call in and ask questions live on the air. And that's coming very, very soon. So chapter 1 is typically whatever the topic is for the show. Chapter 2 is typically a grab bag of headlines. Chapter 3 will be y'all calling in. All right, now that that's out of the way, just to set the tone for this video, because it's all funny ha-ha stuff. At least it's funny ha-ha to us. May not find it too funny ha-ha if you're a woke progressive. You've been warned. All right, so let's start. This one kills me, and it's right on about the maturity level of both John and me. It gets better.
Oh. Oh.
All right, so just in case anybody is wondering, this speaks to the previous video. Mentally, I'm still 29. Humor-wise, I'm 12. But physically, I'm pretty sure I fought in the Civil War.
Well, I saw walking dog with bald head salad. He saw Mary coming and he got back in the alley. Well, I saw walking.
That's a very accurate portrayal for everybody, including the people who are not on today.
They say that men's sense of humor never gets past the 7th grade, and unless you're sophisticated, then it's the 8th grade. But we always find fart noises funny,
Yeah,
and anything that has to do with getting kicked in the nuts.
there you go. Somebody else getting kicked.
Yes, not you, but somebody else.
Oh my God. So listen, this is so unhinged. So I gave you all fair warning. If you're woke progressive, you will not find part of this episode today very funny. But this, I don't know if you've seen this one, John. This old bat is like off the chain insane.
We won't go back. What are we not going back to? We're not going back to the past where women had no rights. Ever, ever, ever. We won't go back. Ever.
Oh my God.
She seems nice.
These people are, completely unhinged, right? I've got a couple of these ones. I'm not sure if this is like the extended version or not, but this is a, spoof. Well, it's actual audio, but there's some AI stuff like the bottle of bourbon in her hand. That's a play on this thing that she did yesterday. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, man. She was drunk. I wouldn't believe anything else.
Don't you ever let anybody take your power from you. You have the same power that you did before November 5th. And you have the same purpose that you did. Don't you ever let anybody take your power.
I'm not as think as you drunk I am, Ossifer.
Yeah, so here's another play on that.
I just have to remind you. Don't you ever let anybody take your power from you.
Dumpster fire.
I just have to remind you.
All right, so this next one here is, sorry, you want to comment on Kamala?
Well, I would love for her team, because she still has a team. Don't be fooled. She still has a team of people. And I know she's been on vacation in Hawaii, but like I would love to see, like, throw the Wonder Woman lasso of truth around that team and find out, what were you guys thinking when you published this video? What was the thought that went through your mind? Like, you had to have known she was intoxicated. Like, did you think that was a good idea?
There's a good chance it was actually sabotage, right? So Morgan & Morgan, largest personal injury attorney firm in the country, from right down the road here in Orlando. John Morgan is just an asshole. But he said a couple days ago, he said, if you blow $1.5 billion on a campaign and you're still $20 million in debt, you don't deserve to be our nominee, let alone the president, because you can't even run a campaign. And I mean, that was a prime example. So the reason I mentioned that, I have a suspicion that video may have been released because some people in the Democrat Party want to roast her, make fun of her, disqualify her, because they published some false news this week where they said she's the front runner for 2028. And then a day after that, Hillary Clinton's thinking about running again in 2028. They never learn. They never learn. These are toxic individuals that no matter how much they cheat, we can't stand them as American people, unless you're a little bit, not right in the head. But
Delulu.
So this one I don't think is meant to be funny, but it is funny because the indignation in these left-wing woke progressives absolutely kills me. And Australia has a whole host of problems. I don't know if you caught it. I don't have it in the thing today, but the brief. But some guy who's in charge of the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, Kim something, goes on a rant on how Joe Rogan is this racist guy and he speaks to the bro audience, blah, blah, blah. And in my opinion, is basically, shut the F up. Nobody gives a shit what you think, especially here in America. So, and the guy, of course, is your typical liberal, right? Like he's limp-wristed tenderfoot. So anyway, this cracks me up just because this is truly how bad things are in other countries that are, drunk on the woke Kool-Aid.
He says, we're bringing in people from South Africa at the moment. There's a huge amount coming into Australia who have disease. They've got AIDS. If that is not racist, what is it?
See the guy behind
it's not racist. Or somebody bring the dictionary because Senator Hanson does not know the definition of racism. The fact that you would say just weeks ago to Senator Faruqi, piss off back to Pakistan, you're not just vindictive, mean, nasty. You bring disgrace to the human race. No dignity whatsoever as a senator.
You want to comment on that, John? I mean,
the guy behind her is all of us when we hear that stuff. He's like, well, where the heck did that come from? Like, that is racism. You don't know the definition of racism, and you're yelling at me for not knowing the definition of racism.
Well, think of 2016 when Trump commented on Haiti being a shithole, which it absolutely is. So Haiti is approximately 1/3 of the same island as the Dominican Republic, which is the eastern 2/3 of the island. That nobody in the Dominican Republic will allow the Haitians to come in because it's such a third world shithole. And of course, Bill and Hillary Clinton stole millions upon millions of dollars that were supposed to go to Haiti to help after earthquakes and funneled it back to their nonprofit.
Yeah, as laid out in Clinton cash.
Yeah, so they saw fit that they were going to attack Trump in the 2016 election cycle, and he couldn't have been more right. Do you see there's like 10,000 Haitians out of the 20,000 in that small town? I think it's in Ohio somewhere.
Springfield. Yep.
Springfield, Ohio. Yeah. That are, you know, they're dispersing. I'm not saying they've left the country, but they're leaving the area. And the mainstream media was like, oh, nobody's eating dogs and cats and stuff. And then like it was one piece after another came out. And then there was people even said, hey, I'm from Haiti. And, you know, alley cats is considered a delicatessen there. So anyway, so moving on to the next woke stuff that cracks me up. And we're not going to listen to the whole 2 minutes of this by any stretch of the imagination. Liberal white women screaming at Lake Michigan to rage against the election.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
By the way, did you see the one guy? There was a guy there at the end. What kind of a beta male actually goes out there with those women? It's the dude that gets friend zoned by every woman at a bar and never could take anybody home, but he hangs around because he thinks, oh, maybe I'll get the leftovers.
It's bad. It's bad.
Yeah, it's just.
But it's good for a laugh. But it's funny, but not funny, right? Because these people are in our country. And they're
making insane asylums great again.
Bingo. There you go. So check this out. This is in Argentina. So this is not just happening with woke progressives here. Argentinian liberals, or leftists, pardon me, expressed their anger towards Elon Musk, Donald Trump, and MAHA. That this guy who posted this, what the hell did I just watch? This one is actually even better than the last one. Kind of like a train wreck, but I can't stop watching it. You know?
Yeah.
I'm going to cut it off in a second. There's some funny stuff coming up here. So if that doesn't make you go WTF, I don't know what does.
They all look the same too, no matter what country. I don't know if you saw the one in France. We couldn't show that one because they're all topless, but there was one in France too of them like, I forget if it was like protesting rape culture or something like that. Topless. That makes sense. Yeah, it's the same thing, man.
It's freaking unreal is what it is. So this next one, this absolutely kills me. I got to read this because I know it's probably too small for people who are watching our show on a phone, but let's see here. Male police officer who pretends to be a woman and sexually assaulted cops is now the woman's representative on the police force. So the actual headline: transgender cop who assaulted two colleagues with a penis pump after drugging them at his apartment, is elected as woman's representative on her police force.
I assaulted with a penis pump?
Yes. Yeah.
Huh. That's a unique choice of weapon.
So, yeah, I mean, I need therapy because I read the rest of this article, but basically he drugged these other male cops and then assaulted them with the penis pump. Yeah. Can't make this stuff up, man.
That is something.
All right. So tell me this picture isn't beautiful. Let me see if I can, make it go a little. There we go. All right. Check that out. On the left side of the pictures is before Trump, and on the right side of the pictures is after Trump. Oh my God, that's funny. Oh, and speaking of one of our favorite woke progressive liberals, let's check in on Rosie and see how the sex strike is going.
Oh, only Rosie O'Donnell, in the words of Donald Trump.
Cannot unsee is what that boils down to. We should probably try to get like a fund going for people who follow Survival Dispatch News so we can get a good rate on group therapy, because after this episode,
we
it's highly
apologize for the trauma, but
yeah,
in some cases, it's better than spending the evening with your family.
some cases. So I don't know what to make of this. I mean, do you want to comment on this? But by the way, I know the answer to this question. This is strictly rhetorical, but there isn't one of these woke progressive women that I would take a run at if I was single. Not one. I mean, it's all a horror show. So,
I don't even know where to go with this one. I don't even know where they found a font big enough to fit that person. Oh my gosh.
I don't know, but you know,
is there any way that like this goes to some of the serious stuff we talked about last night, where it's just this complete and total indoctrination of like white people are evil. Yes. And it's just weird, man. It's like you're hating your own race. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, I mean, it's like the clown who came on last night and was saying that, you know, Native Americans had a very advanced civilization. Yeah, not really. They didn't build any boats to sail across the ocean. They didn't have cannons. You know, they didn't have any of this stuff.
They were nomads that lived on the plains they never built, you know, civilization. They just moved from place to place living off the land.
Yeah, and I don't wish any harm on them. I'm not
correct, like
at all. But you can't revise history. You can't make
correct.
You know, go back and say, oh, you know, it's like there was a video not too long ago, some black guy in Scotland saying that the black people built Scotland. Maybe it was Ireland. It was one of the two, Ireland or Scotland. I'm watching, and he's mad as hell, right? He's, you know, screaming at the camera. He's surrounded by all these people clapping and stuff. No, you didn't. You know, like it's like the whole Netflix thing, right? Where they go back in time to celebrate somebody in our history, and they replaced the white guy or the white girl with a black guy or a black girl. That didn't happen. It's like the Viking shows, for crying out loud. The Viking shows, that these you know, notorious white Vikings with long beards replaced by a black woman on Netflix, and then people watch that and they think it really happened. Did not happen. Anyway. All right, let's move on to one that's a little lighter. Vibe check. Getting ready for Inauguration Day.
I love it.
That makes me feel better right there. And then,
you know what's funny, Chris? You put that in, and so did I. So that's this, or maybe these are ones I put in. So
it might be. Because I actually don't even remember putting it in. So you must have put it in. Same with this one here. I haven't had a chance to watch this, but I have a feeling it's going to be good.
Holy Jesus! What is that? What the fuck is that? Holy Jesus! What is that? What the fuck is that?
I love the caption on it. RFK, you know, finding something like that. So I'm gonna play a quick message from our sponsor, CCW Safe, and then we've got almost 6 memes. We're probably not going to get through them all, but if you go to patreon.com/survival dispatch and sign up for a free account, you get all of our briefs for free and you can enjoy them at that point in time. So quick message from CCW Safe. Necessity truly is the mother of all invention. And there's so many successes like yours where the product didn't exist, the company didn't exist, and you had to invent it yourself to fill that void.
What we provided even at the time when we started CCW Safe, it was really better than what most officers were getting through their unions or departments. And I, you mentioned earlier about competitors. I fully believe that whatever, all of our competitors are going to do exactly what they say they're going to do. It's just we do it a little different. We're not an insurance company or a critical response team. We're really the only one in the industry that has a dedicated critical response team like we have. And that first 48 hours is so important to lock down. So we just do things differently.
Quick word on CCW Safe. They do not sell you an insurance policy. They have what's called a captive insurance policy on their company that insures them against losses, and it is limitless, but they sell you a membership with membership benefits. And if you have a bad district attorney who's hell-bent and determined to pin something on you, and you get to the point where there's no more negotiating other than the DA saying, look, either take this deal or we're going to court, 95% of the time, your attorney is going to say, take the deal, don't risk going to jail for decades. And as soon as you do that, you're admitting guilt. It is against the law for an insurance company to pay out benefits when somebody is breaking the law. So then you owe everything back. And have a look at your policies. If you're not with CCW Safe, look for recoupment clauses, clawback clauses. There's one big company who has used it multiple times. There's another big company, they have it in there, and they'll tell you that they've never used it, have no plans to use it. But under those circumstances, they have to use it. Otherwise, they're breaking federal laws. So anyway, I'll get off of that. So we've had a campaign going all week here with Nancy Mace saying that we can't allow men, who think they're women, mentally ill men, in women's bathrooms. So, this is a new book from Dr. Zeus, No Balls in Women's Stalls.
I'm for it. I second.
I love it. Right. So, and of course, we're all big fans of Sylvester Stallone and Rambo. Seen this image a number of times, but I love it. No man, no woman, no commie can stump him. Amen to that.
On a serious note, this is so true. Have you looked at the left? Like Sharon Stone's a perfect example of this. The video that she put out.
Yeah.
They don't know what to do because they really unloaded every piece of ammunition that they had on Trump. I think that's really why you see the left reeling so much right now, is because, gosh, we used everything. We used our thermonuclear option on him, and he just kept coming. There was no beating him. And it's like, yeah, you're going to have to figure out other things. You're going to actually have to beat us on the merits now.
I'm stealing this from years ago when Rudy Giuliani was battling the mob, but Donald Trump is the Teflon Don. Not in mafia terms, obviously, but play on his name. But check this out. I put this up just because, we can't do an episode of Survival Dispatch News without doing something political.
Yep.
That map says it all. The only blue
100%.
states won were the ones where you don't have to show ID. Anybody who thinks this ID stuff is racist, it is actually the other way around. They're the racists for assuming that other people can't get their IDs. This is just to get illegal votes.
Well, I keep going back to the Florida thing. Florida counted 93 or 94% of their entire vote in 3.5 hours, had everything counted within the next 24 hours.
Yep.
The district in California that just so happened to flip day before yesterday to the Democrats, they've been counting these ballots for 20 days, Chris. Now 22 days. They're still counting them. It's amazing.
And one of those races, was won by 35 votes out of almost 200,000. They're declaring the Democrat the winner by 35 votes. But out of those 35 votes that supposedly give the win to the Democrat, 20 of them have completely disappeared. There's just no chain of custody, nothing. It's anybody who thinks that what happened in Arizona and California isn't straight up cheating is either a very low information, low IQ person, or something else. I don't know what else, but the fact of the matter, at the end of the day, cheating their asses off, and we made it too big to rig on Donald Trump's part. But follow me here for a second. Donald Trump won by 5.5% in Arizona, which has a whole bunch of Democrats from California invading their state. So Donald Trump wins by 5.5%, but Carrie Lake loses. Bullshit. Nobody voted for Donald Trump and then voted for the cartel-aligned piece of shit Democrat.
Correct.
They all voted for it. It's so blatant, it's not even funny. So,
well, and they were trying to do it in Pennsylvania too with McCormick.
absolutely.
But they got caught because they passed a law, and that's why every state, you got to get on every one of these states and start forcing. They really need some reforms on the federal level for elections to say, yep, no, we're going to require voter ID in every state.
The problem is that the Constitution delegates the elections to the states. So you have 50 separate elections, right?
Yeah.
So you have to go to work on each state to fix them. And if it's a Democrat controlled state, I'll be honest with you, there's no way that since Reagan, California has voted all these Democrats in. They're cheating their asses off. It's been forever and a day. And it's ridiculous. Yeah, there's some crazy people in California, but there's also a lot of good people in California.
Nope. You get up in Northern California, it's as red as any area. It's like where I live in Illinois.
Absolutely.
Like you don't even run Democrats in Southern Illinois.
Amen to that. So I figured I'd bring up our favorite, not so favorite POTUS here. Just in case I start World War III, please remember it's Bush's fault and you're a racist. And that's the problem that I have with Obama. I have a number of problems with him, but this whole thing that if you question anything he says, you're a racist. No, he's a fucking asshole, man. Like I don't know how else to state it. And if I can't disagree with him because of his skin color, well, you know what? Then you can't disagree with me because of my skin color. Good for the goose, good for the gander.
Yep. 100%. I completely agree.
All right, let's see. I think somebody sent this on our Signal chat. I think this is where I scooped this up from. But there's a nice family gathering. Everybody wearing their MAGA hats. Good times.
You know what I love, Chris? This is one of the best things. I don't know if you've seen the thing, and I don't know if we have it in the brief. I should have found it and put it in there. Apparently, the Washington football team is renegotiating putting the Redskin logo back on their helmets and changing the name back.
I heard that. I
mean, this was news like 2 days ago. It's like everything is starting to be set back in order.
Yes.
Now, the thing is we got to keep pushing because we need to get everything reset, everything pushed back. But
realistically, we have 2 years to do what you're saying.
Yep, 100%.
Because they're going to cheat their ass off in the midterms. And we got to get as much passed vis-a-vis legislation as opposed to executive order in the next 2 years, because we've seen how easy it is to stroke of a pen just to wipe out executive order. So from Donald Trump here, happy Thanksgiving to all, including the radical left lunatics who work so hard to destroy our country, but who have miserably failed and will always fail because their ideas and policies are so hopelessly bad that the great people of our nation just gave a landslide victory to those who want to make America great again. Don't worry, our country will soon be respected, productive, fair, and strong, and you will be more than ever before proud to be an American. Have you seen on some campuses where it's typically a black male who professes that, he wants to make America great again, and then the black females and the white females want to argue and say America was never great? Yeah, okay. Like you said last night, you've traveled to 30 different countries, kind of have some perspective, right?
Yeah, it's not even close. Now, there are some civilized countries, I said for a long time now, this is based off of 12 years ago, but if I had to live anywhere outside of the United States, it would probably have been Germany. Now, it's been overrun by Muslim immigrants and all that stuff, so it's probably not the same, but it's a beautiful country. You understand, why people love certain European countries. Problem is the politics stinks so much. It's like California, but yeah, I mean, when you go around the world, especially when you go into certain countries that are way less fortunate than us, then you start to realize, hey, maybe we got something good going on.
Yeah, and I would say, and of course, they've been joined at the hip to Germany forever and a day, would be Switzerland. Yep. You have to own a gun. You have to be training a gun, because once you turn 21, you could be conscripted at a moment's notice. But neutral through World War II, every single person I've met from Switzerland, John, is very libertarian and conservative, whatever you want to call it.
It is interesting. I actually had a friend that I worked with that his mom married a guy from Switzerland. They lived in Switzerland when he was in high school. and he told me all of this stuff. I worked with him for about 3 or 4 years before he moved on. But yeah, he was like, yeah, we had like fully automatic military weapons in our house. We were required to have them. And in the summer, there is a 2-week period. And this was actually, there was a documentary that a young kid put out a few years back. I forget the name of it, where he actually travels to Switzerland, and they have a 2-week period where the entire population, everything shuts down, and they go to the range and shoot. Like, that's their country.
Yeah.
Guess who doesn't? Guess why nobody messes with Switzerland? For one, they can actually conscript an entire army of millions and move them into the mountains at a moment's notice. You want to fight that war? Nope.
And their education system, healthcare, all that stuff is pretty high quality there as well. So, another one of a political nature here, but I've lived through this. So, this is the truth. Now, I don't remember the 1960s. There's an old saying that says, if you remember the 1960s, you weren't there. But I was born in 1969. So, but nonetheless, the progressives, whatever they were called back then, oil gone in 10 years, never happened. 1970s, I do remember this. Another ice age in 10 years, didn't happen. 1980s, actually, it was late 1970s. Acid rain's going to destroy all the crops in North America. Didn't happen. 1990s, ozone layer will be gone in 10 years. Didn't happen. 2000, ice caps will be gone in 10 years. None of this has happened. And the note at the bottom that it did result in more taxes to fight this, imaginary boogeyman is absolutely true. And before you comment on this, let me just say this. The reason, the global warming, climate change, all of this stuff, there's a very specific reason for this. And it is to have a global boogeyman to unite the world around so we can have one world order, one globalist government. The only way we're going to be able to save humanity is if we put the UN in charge of the entire world and we're all on the same team, we're all in the same direction, because we're all going to die. Now you have a bunch of millennials and Gen Zers who have to have therapy and SSRI, mood enhancing drugs, because they're so scared that the climate boogeyman is going to end the world tomorrow.
Yeah, and that's going to backfire on them long term, because these people have never learned how to cope with anything difficult in their life. They've been told all of this stuff, and guess what? There are people that are not having children as a result of this. There are people that are doing all this stuff. Long term, that's going to kill your society. And these people are going to end up with no social security, no anything like that, and they haven't taken care of themselves, and they haven't been responsible because they thought the world was ending. So what happens when people think the world is ending? They live recklessly. They don't live for the future. They live for the here and now. That's what you're seeing in society, whole cloth, is that younger people are living for the here and now instead of living for their family and their future generations. When you get into, and Chris, you can attest to this, you have grown children. When you get a little bit older, you start to think about the future for your children and grandchildren rather than yourself. When you're young, yes, you do that. The problem is we have co-opted that with all of this fear mongering. And now you have an entire generation or multiple generations that have lived this life, and it's slowly crushing our society.
Absolutely. It's just like Jeff said last night. It's the frog in the, in
the boiling water,
bucket of water that's slowly being boiled, right?
Yep.
So, all right, moving on to the next one here. So, I mean, the picture doesn't give you the whole perspective, but it does say at the top here, the sequel to Kamala Rides the Short Bus. Amen to that.
You went full retard, in the words of Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah. So here's something we can relate to, being gun owners. By the way, did you catch that 29% of registered Democrat men own guns, and that 33% of Republican women now own guns?
Mm-hmm.
Thought that was an impressive statistic. But
yeah, and that, this is one of my biggest frustrations with the political makeup is if the gun owners of America would actually vote on gun rights only, we would never lose an election, ever.
Yeah.
Because I think it's there's several million, I think it's tens of millions of gun owners don't vote.
10 million, there's overlap here, but 10 million hunters and gun owners typically don't vote. Now, good chunk of them voted this time around.
Yeah.
Because of all the concerted efforts we made. And when I say we, I mean we. Like, it's Survival Dispatch News. We worked hard for it, amongst other people that we know. So,
and I think it's interesting, and it's an important division to make, is that you have people like me that I'm a gun enthusiast. I would classify myself as a gun enthusiast. I want all types of guns. I want hunting guns. I want tactical guns. I want big guns. I want small guns. I'm an enthusiast. Gun owners, not all gun owners are enthusiasts, but all enthusiasts are gun owners. So that's the overlap. And those are the people, if you're a gun enthusiast, you need to be reaching out and educating your fellow gun owners that may not be enthusiasts, but they may own a pistol. They may own a hunting rifle. They may be, a gun owner, but not an enthusiast. We should be educating them on, hey, once they get us, they're coming after you.
Yeah.
So you better start voting now.
Yeah. 100%. Well said. All right. So I love this next one because you can barely see it at the top, but it says being libertarian, of course, lowercase L, not capital L. Those guys are crazy. And yes, this meme's been out for a few months, but I love it. The Macho Man and Hulk Hogan coming to terms, because for those of us who grew up in the 70s and 80s, they were arch enemies for years, played against each other. And then, they united and rocked the world. So, there's a decent amount of testosterone in this picture here, and there's less than zero testosterone in this one.
I love the Epstein Island in the background.
Yeah, I mean, this guy is such a tenderfoot. I mean, I don't know how else to describe him. And I'm trying to think of the right word. Like, he's an angry tenderfoot as well. He's always being angry about this, that, or the other thing. But so, speaking of being angry, so grateful I am not a brainwashed anti-American liberal piece of shit. Hell to the yeah on that.
Yep.
Oh, and did you see Trump's new wall? This is the new design for Trump 2.0. This is his new plan for the wall. And you know what's funny? Somebody is going to send me an email. Somebody's going to make a comment below that this is not Trump's plan for new wall. And it will be some, limp-wristed left-wing woke person, because they can't distinguish between sarcasm and reality. Okay, so this is a joke,
Yep.
So check yourself if you didn't catch that it's a joke. You need help, because it happens all the freaking time.
There is a reason, Chris, why the vast majority of modern day comedians are on the right now, because the left has no sense of humor. Zero sense of humor. They
really don't. Absolutely. They really don't. It's crazy, isn't it?
They take themselves way too seriously. We take things seriously, but we also know that, if you can't have a laugh, if you can't, you go back, if you've ever been in the military, if you've ever been in any kind of situation where, there was a fair amount of danger, what happens a lot of times? You end up laughing and joking because it's the way you get through it.
It's a coping mechanism.
Yeah. And if you can't laugh, guess what? You're going to have a miserable life. And I think that's what you're seeing out of the left, is just misery. They're miserable people.
They're very miserable. And we've made this observation multiple times. Even after 2 attempts on his life, Donald Trump's still cracking jokes. Even though we've got all this crazy stuff going on in our country, we still make jokes.
Yep.
Whereas you're right, the people on the left, they're addicted to SSRIs. They're addicted to being miserable. They're addicted to saying that anybody who doesn't agree with them 100% is, evil, for lack of a better term. I mean, these are mentally unbalanced people at the end of the day. But let's get back to having some fun here. So there's our a favorite president, by the way. I don't know.
I love it.
Yeah, that's a good one. And you'll be able to relate to this one. Toxic masculinity, saving pussies from extinction for centuries.
That's a double entendre. It's great.
Yeah, I love it. It's absolutely great. And we've been seeing a lot of belly aching from the mainstream media, and these people like the Axios CEO having a meltdown because Elon said that we, meaning people like you and me, Survival Dispatch News, are the new media. Well, this is why. Because all these mainstream media outlets, all they do is publish complete bullshit, We're experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by while we figure out how to blame Trump.
Well, this even goes back to, like, I mean, remember what they did to Mitt Romney, and I can't stand Mitt Romney. I voted for him with my nose plugged in 2012. You know, there were so many better candidates. Like, I mean, Newt Gingrich was running for president that time around. You know, it would have been a way better candidate. But like, you look at that, and they look at what they did to Mitt Romney. Like, they were accusing him of like being a chauvinistic pig because he was trying to hire women, you know, because you know, and then there was the dog story and all this other stuff. They lied about everything.
The dog story was actually true.
Yeah,
he did do that. Yes, he did. He put the dog in a crate on top of the family station wagon, and when they pulled over, the dog, of course, shit all over the place, absolutely scared to death. He actually has addressed that a couple times.
Yeah,
tried to blow it off like, you know, it was no big deal or whatever. But anyway, the next one, actually, you know what? I'm going to pull one ahead from further down the line here, just because it's really relevant to what we just said. There you go. Mainstream media lied and cheated till the end.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't be more accurate than that. Okay, let's go back to funny haha, because this one absolutely kills me. Balls to the walls.
I love it. I love it.
That's a great meme. Whoever came up with that
he's
one,
having fun there too.
Well, of course he is. Of course he is. Absolutely. All right. So back to the gun stuff. I mean, we got so many memes. Like I said, I don't know that we'll get through all of them, but if conservative gun owners are the problem, then why is it only liberals are the ones trying to assassinate politicians?
That's a great point. And I would say this, you know, they said that the average household gun ownership in the United States, there was some kind of poll or something, that's 2.8 guns. Well, first of all, we got to get those numbers up. But if we had a gun problem, you guys would know about it. The media wouldn't have to report on it.
Yeah.
It'd be just like inflation. Oh, the media's telling me inflation's not real. Well, I'm the one buying the groceries. If we had a real gun problem, guess what? You would know it, because it'd be in your town. It'd be in your neighborhood.
100%. 100%. Couldn't agree more with that. So, okay, we're switching back and forth gears here, but like I said, this was all just meant to have funny today. There you go. Never forget, these are paid actors reading a script crafted to manipulate your perception of reality. And it's funny, right? I almost thought about doing like the thumbnail or the title, something like funny, not funny. This is funny, but it's not funny that we have so many people in our society just can't get a clue to save their life. It's so obvious, right? But they drink the Kool-Aid and they just can't, their bullshit meter doesn't exist. So anyway.
You want to know why the Babylon Bee is such a successful thing? Is because they just do this stuff. It's funny because it's true. That's why they had to create a whole thing that was called Not the Bee, because they were too close to the truth in most of the time.
Exactly. Yep. So love this meme. Less 1984, more 1776. Amen to that. And of course,
don't mess with that guy.
Right. And of course, geez, my memory's already fading. Who called us all garbage again during the election cycle?
It was the guy that voted for Trump in the end.
Right. Check this. We spoke about this briefly last night as well. I endorse Kamala Harris. Yeah, we don't care. And Cindy and I were discussing this last night. I actually saw a poll on this sometime in the past week. And if memory serves me right, it said that only 7% of Americans responded to this poll that celebrities endorsing the candidate made them have a favorable opinion. The vast majority of us, when somebody like these people endorse somebody like Kamala, it makes us despise the candidate and them even more, right?
Yep.
So you're going to like this one here. I don't know if you've seen this guy or not before, but this is Mark LGBT Cuban. I thought that was a good one. Maybe.
I love that Elon replied to it.
Yeah.
Like how many people made themselves a joke by jumping on that bandwagon, man?
Yeah, but I mean, we have to qualify that. So when you take somebody like Mark Cuban goes hard against Trump, he's one of the people on the Diddy and the Epstein list, and it's being lorded over him. And if he doesn't do that, they say, okay, well, we'll release all the evidence and you'll suffer for it. So anyway,
well, here's a question for you, Chris, and this is a little bit off topic, but you brought up the Mark Cuban thing. Why do you think Ellen is moving to London or has moved to London?
100%. Absolutely. No ifs, ands, or buts. Part of that whole Diddy thing. And they've done very deviant, illegal things, illegal things. But anyway, moving back to the garbage theme, Team Garbage 2024, go team. And then this one cracks me up, out of the landfill and into the White House. And as you know, I changed my opinion a couple months ago, and I came out in full support of DEI. I think it's a good thing. And my good friend Tom Holman actually agrees with me on this one as well. And I'm not joking. I've met Tom Holman. I've worked with Tom Holman. He's a great guy. And amen. So I don't know if you caught it, but the family with the rescue that has untold numbers of animals, horses, you name it, announced the lawsuit yesterday against the officials who came and took his squirrel, Peanut, took his raccoon, Fred, euthanized them. I think it was 8 civil servants, including the cops, spent an entire day at this guy's property. They trashed his home. And I don't know if you caught this or not. They took his AR-15, by the way.
Oh, that's not surprising.
Not at all. But
you'll never get that back.
Yeah. Big time lawsuit for sure. Deserves to be, well compensated for the Gestapo pulling that shit. I love this one though, on the topic of deportation. Give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Deport a man, you never have to feed him again.
That's solid thinking.
All right. And JFK, we choose to offend pussies with memes, not because it is easy, but because it is fun. Yes, it is. Couldn't agree more. So you'll love this one here. Hegseth for Secretary of Defense. I know that is so weird. So you have a Richard Levine. You have Richard Levine, who's a mentally ill man who thinks that he's a woman, as the head of the Health and Human Services branch, which has everything else falls below that, which is where RFK is going. And then you got Sam Brinkman.
Klepto crossdresser.
Correct. But we're the weird ones. Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
And that's the thing, is the left pushed that so hard to the point where everyday Americans are like, are you guys looking at the people you're promoting? Like, no, we're not weird. That's weird.
I've seen quite a few people comment that I guess you would say were historically Democrats, comment that the radical part of the Democrat Party just took them too far to the left.
Mm-hmm.
And what's crazy is that when everybody who says to the Democratic Party, like people that they normally love and trust, says that's the case, well, then they're the bad people and they go scorched earth against them. It's the party of insanity. I don't know how else to describe it. So speaking of which, next one works pretty good for this theme as well. Trump has hired an unqualified cabinet, says the lunatics who gave America this shit show.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, what a joke. You get Sam Brinkman, like you said, the kleptomaniac, stealing women's luggage from airports so you could dress up in women's clothes. You've got this lesbian, and I don't care if somebody's a lesbian or not, but she's dumb as a stump. She got an IQ of about 60. And I don't know if you saw an interview, I want to say it was maybe a year ago or so, but she was being interviewed by somebody in the mainstream media, and she said that she is a historic figure because she's a black lesbian. It makes her an historic figure. Well, it makes you a joke. And then again, we got Richard Levine on the end here who thinks he's a woman. You got Anthony Blinken, who's a complete beta and has given up intel against our allies, which is what happened with the Israeli attacks on Lebanon. He got pissed off, and the next guy beside him, Lloyd Austin, got pissed off because Netanyahu didn't tell him. And Netanyahu said to both of them, I'm not telling you anything. You guys will go and tell the enemy. Why would I tell you guys anything, right? Then you got Jennifer Granholm, used to be the governor of Michigan, complete nutcase. And then you got Pete Buttplug here over on the end, who spent $65 billion to install EV charging stations across the country, and they got a grand total of 8 of them installed for $65 billion. True story. So now,
if you did that in the mob, you would end up with a tire wrapped around you and doused in gasoline.
Absolutely. So we go from that crew to this crew.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
They get their priorities straight here, right? And I love this here. From Musk till dawn. Did you see Elon's mother was interviewed by somebody, and she said that Elon and Donald Trump have a very close friendship, which is obvious. I mean, but it's
they said that he practically lives at Mar-a-Lago. Like he is there all the time, him and RFK. And that's great, because I think that what Trump understands as a businessman, what's really cool about it, he understands where to plug people in. It's just like he said, I'm going to let RFK go crazy on the health stuff, but he can't touch oil, because that's where he runs away from, our beliefs and where we kind of think things are. It's not that we're married to oil. It's just that we understand, like we said yesterday, it is the only viable energy source right now. Until we come up with something different or better, that's it. And trying to force something else into the pipeline doesn't work.
No, 100%. Well said. So we like to harp on about this, me in particular, but there's a Venn diagram on people are confused over their body and their sex and their gender. It's all mental illness. Doesn't matter what angle you look at it from. And even the World Health Organization classified body dysmorphia and transgenderism as mental illness up until 2018. This is asymmetric warfare being waged against us by our enemies to divide our country and to take, it makes people like you and me and the rest of our crew just shake our heads thinking, what's wrong with you clowns? Like, make America sane again. But it makes that chasm between us and them deeper, so deep to the fact, I've said this before and I'm going to keep on saying it, there will be no olive branch, no reconciliation with the left. Ain't going to happen. When they took it to this level, they went too far. I'm not agreeing with anybody who believes in any of that crap.
Yep, me neither. That's a no-fly zone.
Yeah, 100%. Right on. It's cheaper to deport than support. God bless Keanu Reeves, even though he's Canadian. He's from Winnipeg, Manitoba. Back to the transgenderism. If you're born with a dick, you are not a chick. Dr. says so. And by the way, I don't know if you heard this, but after the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight, the next one is going to be against Michael Obama.
I think she will beat the crap out of him. She got more testosterone than he does.
I would bet money on that. And, I told you that when Sydney and I went to vote, that there were, out of 500 homes in this older established subdivision, we saw 3 signs for Kamala Harris, and some asshole went and put one in her front yard when we went to vote. But, and the sign says unburdened across the top. And clearly, when you see this meme, they made a typo there. It's unburdened, not unburdened.
So I do have to point out something. We need to fix AI. They make her look more attractive. AI,
ain't that the truth?
Because that's a very attractive woman there. That's not Kamala Harris. It's kind of looks like her, but it's actually a pretty version.
So the funny thing is, I occasionally use Grok, Elon's AI, to do our thumbnails and stuff. And I was trying to get it to draw something Kamala and Trump. And I kept telling it, make her uglier, make her uglier. That's too pretty. And it would not do it.
Yep.
It didn't matter how many times I asked it. And I've got a premium plus membership, so I could have gone on and asked it over and over again. All right. So here's a little, tenderfoot fruitcake right here. Harry Sisson. I just spoke to my Uber driver in Detroit, Michigan, and he told me he's voting for Kamala Harris. He's originally from Gambia and is now registered and independent. He said he saw how bad dictators were in Africa and warns that Trump wants to do the same. Amazing. Sarah Rose's response: not one person with a functioning IQ believes this.
Harry Sisson, Harry Fagson is just let's just be honest. He is a paid voice for the Democratic Party that they were attempting to get the TikTok generation to jump on board, and he just exudes fakeness.
100%.
Just exudes fakeness.
100%. Yeah. All right, so back to the mentally ill people. If you belong in the men's bathroom and you follow my daughter or wife into the women's bathroom, you're going to need the handicapped bathroom.
Straight facts.
That's actually happened in some areas. It happened in Dallas about 10 years ago or so. So here we go. So they want to pick on RFK. RFK is too anti-science. Mm-hmm. But
Also the left.
But men can get pregnant, right?
Yeah, we curated the pregnant man meme.
Yeah, it's just insanity. So I've got one more message to play from Native Hydrate, one of our sponsors, and it's important, John, because the first person who sends me proof of purchase from Native Hydrate will get this 1 ounce pure silver, 99.99999%, 5 decimal places, same size as a 45 ACP. You can see it next to a 9 mil. The difference in size, pretty substantial. It's got some weight to it. But the first person who sends me proof of a purchase from Native Hydrate, aka Native Path, we will send this silver bullet to. That's pure silver. All right.
Rock
My name
and
is Chris
roll.
Evan, and I'm the CEO of Survival Dispatch. I was a member of our national powerlifting team for many years and won many state, national, and world championships. Even though I'm in great shape for being 55 years old, I am not immune to father time. Most of us feel weaker and make more trips to the bathroom as we get older. U.S. Army research has led to a breakthrough for the #1 water for older Americans. It's not a special sports drink, but a mix with essential nutrients most hydration drinks lack. Keyword, hydration. These nutrients are proven to enhance muscle strength, reduce soreness, and improve bladder health. A Texas doctor leveraged this research and formulated a drink mix to help you stay strong. Click the link below for up to 44% off at nativehydrate.com/dispatch, plus free shipping and a free gift. This is one of the best deals I've seen for high-quality BCAA drink mixes. Don't miss this deal.
We've been getting some really good feedback, by the way. People who agree with me, even S2 bought some of the Native Hydrate. The problem with a lot of that stuff is, and you know this because you train, is that these BCAA drinks just taste like death. Like a lot of them are just awful. And the Native Hydrate stuff tastes really good. So we're pressed for time. I only have a handful, maybe 10 memes to go. We're going to run through it really quickly before we wrap up this episode here. But so here's some more mental illness. A couple with identity disorders who have over 400 personalities between them reveal sometimes they go a day without eating because their child alter egos don't know how to cook.
I have no words.
Me either. I mean, let's just move
It's just
on.
insanity.
It is absolute insanity. So this one couldn't be more true here. They're not unattractive because they're feminists. They're feminists because they're unattractive. That's
there was a great video a couple of months ago that was kind of making the rounds of this girl, very cute, very pretty girl, and it's like the devolution into feminism. She starts gaining weight, then she cuts her hair short.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and then by the end of it, she is just this land whale that is short hair, purple hair, tattoos on her face. I mean, it's just piercings everywhere. And it's just like, man, like, why?
Well, because a product of an indoctrination camp.
Yep.
One of the, cesspool left-wing colleges or universities. So speaking of a cesspool, The View needs to be canceled. 1954 shit spreader, 2024 shit spreader.
No lies detected.
Okay, so listen, speaking of completely batshit insane, if you've seen the video with Britney Spears, wheeling around with knives and stuff, it was actually
Ow, my eyes. Now, see, that's actually a picture of Kamala. So there, you see the difference between that and what AI produces.
it's just classic. I don't know.
Yep.
Absolutely classic. All right. So here we got of 3 textbook criminals in a bathtub. And, by the way, this is Tom Holman's absolutely brilliant. When somebody accused him that if he's going to be deporting people, he's going to break up families. No, the family deported together stays together.
Facts.
Facts. Exactly. Facts right there.
Now let's get SCOTUS to end anchor babies too.
So you got to sing this one along in your head, by the way. He's making a list. He's checking it twice. Gonna find out who gets deported by ICE.
Papa Trump is coming to town.
There you go. Gotta love it. All right. Speaking of our friend Tom Holman, there you go. Tom Holman. He's coming back as essentially RoboCop.
An Elon Musk idea. I love that. That's freaking great. Great deportation.
Isn't that awesome?
That's awesome.
Gotta love it. So this is something that I would do, but we're hosting Thanksgiving. So, but please don't bring up politics. Let's have a nice get together. Me, okay, I'll bring the charcuterie.
Real quick story that's actually kind of funny. My father-in-law is a very, very conservative man, but his mother is diehard Democrat, has been for years. And they took a picture of her out in front of her little garden beds in front of her house. But what she didn't know is they put a Trump sticker on the front of it where she couldn't see it. And they're actually going to present her that this Thanksgiving.
Oh my God. That's beautiful.
I'll let you know how it turns out. There may be a mushroom cloud.
Yeah, I would love to hear it for sure. All right. So I got just a handful of actually I got one more meme and then I got 4 quick X posts to show. But Denzel Washington, we live in a time where intelligent people are being silenced so that stupid people won't be offended. I don't know if that quote is actually attributable to him or not, but that's a mouthful right there.
Yep.
Could not agree with it more.
That's a homily.
Yeah, there you go. So anybody who, thinks the mainstream media is doing a good job and they're honorable, I love the way that Scott Pressler puts this female reporter from CNN in her place.
I noticed that when you urge people to action,
yes,
you often include the word
peacefully.
Is that to avoid another Jan 6 type incident?
With all due respect, it's to avoid people like you guys saying that I'm anything but. My motto is to just be super cute, have my data and facts, treat everyone with love and respect, and as you can see, an army of people will follow.
Good for him. I mean, good for him. He did a great job there. All right, so this is big news that came out last night, and we're pre-recording this the morning of Thanksgiving. It'll be broadcast normal time tonight, 7 p.m. So I'm going to assume that most people are aware of this by the time that this episode airs. But from Libs of TikTok, over the past 4 years under Democrat leadership, millions of illegals traveled via Mexico to cross into our country through our southern border. With one phone call, Trump just ended that. This is what a real president looks like. Mexico will stop people from going to our southern border effective immediately. This will go a long ways towards stopping the illegal invasion of the USA. Thank you. Just had a wonderful conversation with the new president of Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum Pardo. She has agreed to stop migration through Mexico and into the United States, effectively closing our southern border. We also talked about what can be done to stop the massive drug inflow into the United States and also U.S. consumption of these drugs. It was a very productive conversation. I don't have much to say because obviously I agree with it. I know you agree with it, but if you want to make any comments, go ahead. I mean, he's not even in office for crying out.
I would say that he is showing strength, like using the things like, okay, we're going to use the Navy SEALs to go after the cartels. Okay, you want to play this game? Here's a 25% tariff. And guess what? That can go up. And you have no bargaining position because we give you money every year. You want that money to be cut off on top of everything? No.
Yeah.
We are in the position of power in this argument.
Just think of how much is generated in their GDP from the auto industry. It'd be very easy for us to shut that down and say to the big three, if you don't repatriate your operations, it's going to cost you more to operate in Mexico.
And they will do that overnight. I can tell you as a person that works in that industry.
There you go. So I'm not going to play this video. I alluded to it earlier, but this is Mark Longo, who has the animal rescue. And by the way, he didn't just have Peanut the squirrel and Fred the raccoon. They've got hundreds of animals that they've rescued, including a large number of horses. This is an entire operation that saves animals. And the notoriety that Peanut, the squirrel, gained on social media that money that was made from that notoriety went to help these other animals. So it's not just that they took 2 pets away from this guy and his wife and murdered them, essentially. It also took away from resources that this couple has used to rescue many, many other animals. It's abhorrent. It is a brutal example of how much the bureaucracy sucks balls and why we got to take a sledgehammer to them while we got Trump in office.
Absolutely.
Right.
Where's PETA? Where is PETA on this whole thing?
You know, they haven't said a word.
Right.
I mean, I consume a lot of news from across the spectrum, and I have not seen anything in that regard whatsoever. So I wanted to end, all of our sharing today on a positive note. So happy Thanksgiving. We've got a lot to be thankful for this year. Not only Trump won, but he survived 2 assassination attempts, and the Democrats still can't figure out why Trump won, which, okay, whatever. Yep. So that's the end of our stuff that we have to share. There's no conflicted question today because I wanted to.
Let me real quick make an announcement I'm going to share something here real quick. We have our Black Friday sale at righteoussavages.com. 20% off site wide on everything for our merch and our coffee, all of that stuff. We have a new hoodie that you guys may have seen me wear in the last week that just dropped, and there's a special price on that to drop. So go over to righteoussavages.com, check that out.
There's a reason there's special prices on it because John wears 3XL and that's all they sent. So
yep, exactly.
Unless you're a big guy, you can't wear this hoodie.
You can't tell them that.
Good for your wife or girlfriend to sleep.
And then we are also launching a Righteous Savages Patreon on Saturday. We're going to have training videos, Q&As, exclusive content. So go check that out if it's something you're interested in. We have a free level of membership that'll keep you updated with everything. But I just wanted to give a quick plug. If you want to show your support, I've been wearing these Comfort is Your Enemy. We believe that. I know even Survival Dispatch, we believe that is the truth. We got to get out of our comfort zone. So important that you guys show your support to us and help us to be able to expand our training in 2025.
I was in a meeting recently and it's all a blur, right? I mean, I work 7 days a week, 12, 14, 15 hours a day. But somebody quoted something from scripture, John, and I don't remember the original quote, but the person ended up paraphrasing it by saying, "Comfort is your enemy." And I said to them, that's John's. That's his saying. I mean, that's how he put a fine point on it, basically. So, by the way, homework wise, we always have homework for our audience at the end of the video, what they can do in light of everything that we've shared. And it's really simple homework. Laugh and be merry. That's it. Don't be a miserable Democrat.
Yep.
Be a proud American. And laugh and be merry on this day while you're with your families. Reminders, patreon.com/survival dispatch. Sign up for free. Get all of our episode briefs. They're extensive. On average, somewhere between, say, 8 and 10 man hours put into each one. It's almost like a curated newspaper for patriots, for lack of a better term, libertarians, conservatives. And if you do sign up for the paid version, $9.99, you get access to our Signal group. John and I can't keep up with the Signal group. There is so much activity in there. The camaraderie and intel being shared is just absolutely phenomenal. Other than that, please mash the like button before you leave. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. God bless America.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
You better watch out. You better not sigh. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. Santa Trump is coming to town. He's building a wall. He's measuring the height. And truth's in the morning and late in the night. Santa Trump is coming to town. He sees you on Truth Social. He reads your every post. If you're not on his side, my friend, he'll roast you more than most. Oh, you better watch out. You better not groan. He's golfing this week. Mar-a-Lago's his home. Santa Trump is coming to town. He sees you when you're voting. He knows it when you cheat. If if you tamper with the ballots, he'll make sure that you are picked. The swamp better watch out that the trains get near. Your backroom secrets are all out this year. Santa Trump is coming to town. He's making a list, he's checking it twice. We're gonna find out who's getting deported by ICE. Santa Trump is coming to town. He sees you on the news shows, he knows which ones are fake. If you're from CNN, my friend, you've made a big mistake. He got a mandate now, the people made a call to drain the swamp and build the wall. Santa Trump is coming, I said Santa Trump is coming. Santa Trump is